Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Love is Blind, Season 8, Episode 2.
I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. You ready, Blair?
Let's get into it.
Let's go.
So we start with Daniel and Taylor. Her dad's name is actually Daniel. He was diagnosed with cancer, but he's been doing treatments. The initial news was really tough for her to hear. There is that fear that her dad might not be there to walk her down the aisle. He loves his parents. She loves Taco Bell. And she has it tattooed on the inner bottom portion of her lip. And now it's Taco B because it faded. He would also like to tattoo Chick-fil-A on his lip.
She got Taco Bell tattooed on her lip.
Yes.
This is what I mean when I say don't show me fluff.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not picking Taco Bell tattoo on the lip girl right here. You get what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
So we move on to Sarah, who's 28, an oncology nurse. She says that she doesn't have a type physically, but her exes have always been funny. Ben is 27. He is an account executive. He asked her about her eating habits, and she does love food. She's going to order what she wants when she goes out to eat, though. She makes food in the air fryer. He talks about how he doesn't order steak out to eat because his dad makes a great steak. Her dad does as well, so maybe they can try each other's dad's steaks when they get out.
Yeah.
He grew up Christian and he believes in God, and that's about it. He's kind of created his own faith type of walk situation. She believes in a higher power. She was raised Catholic, but religion is tough for her because her sister is gay and her best friend. Okay. There's a lot of hypocrisy with religion, and she talks about how it says love thy neighbor, but for some reason LGBTQ is going to hell, and the priest might have some sexual allegations going on with him as well.
Oh, okay.
He has no issues with the LGBTQ community. He says that he's more faith-based instead of religion. He does go to church every week, and he would prefer his partner to go with him. She's open to going to a church who accepts all people, and he isn't going to pressure her into anything.
Yeah, y'all not a good match at all.
I agree with
that.
Not
even close. But let's get to the steak part. I actually make a great steak as well, but I'm trying to work on getting it to where it's medium. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. We're on the well done side a little bit.
My steak tastes amazing. I put my steak when it comes to taste wise against anyone else's steak.
Yeah, you can season down.
But you just gonna be chewing for a little bit. You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, like we done with the steak? No, you still chewing on the first piece for like 2 minutes and things like that. Listen, I just got a new cast iron and it gets away from me sometimes. So I just need to learn how to use it and learn how to actually cause I've been cooking for a while, but I never cooked in a cast iron before. Okay. I know it sounds like excuses, but it's not excuses. It's reasons, right? The reasons why my steak be coming out a little bit done.
Yes.
Is because the cast iron be getting away from me a little bit. Yeah. But give me another 2 weeks and I'm sure I get it down right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe you can be in the competition with their dads to see who
I already know my steak is better than it. I already know because I never season and cook the same day. Yeah. So I season and let it marinate for like 24 hours. So
yeah, my only thoughts about this is that
I forgot we were reviewing
we've got the Cast Iron Chronicles.
I got passion because last night I used the cast iron and it got away from me again. Yes. You get what I'm saying? But the taste was immaculate.
It was very good.
Exactly.
Yeah, so as far as this, I understand that he is saying that he has his own belief system and that it isn't as rigid as the religion that he necessarily grew up in. But I hear him, but it also makes me think, okay, what about your family? What about your friends?
I'm not only marrying you. Yeah.
Exactly. She's going to have her sister around at family events. I don't want her sister to be uncomfortable. Yeah. She doesn't want to be uncomfortable. I don't know if this is really a match when it comes to lifestyles.
It shouldn't be.
So Ben's parents are divorced. He was single, then his brothers got married and his parents got remarried, and that changed his headspace around marriage. Okay. He does like Sarah and would enjoy having her around for a little bit more.
Nice.
Lauren says that hearing Molly talk about Dave being her number one was a dagger to the heart.
Oh my gosh, girl, please.
Lauren doesn't think that Molly knows that Dave is who she's talking to as well. If she does, is she trying to cause doubt for her? But right now she's wanting to run into the pod and ask him to explain himself. And my thoughts are, what do you want him to say, Lauren? Y'all are dating multiple people.
I'm about to say the same way as you talking to multiple people.
Yeah, so I was just kind of like, Lauren, I know it hurts, but this is the process y'all are in, girl. Don't get too too crazy too quick. Okay. So we get to David and Lauren. Lauren says that when she first came in, she thought that she wouldn't be able to fall for someone in this setting. Now she's afraid that she could want a future with someone and not be chosen. They joked about him having another date when they talked before, and she told him to cancel his next date. Of course, he wasn't going to do that for real. Dave says that she changed his day yesterday. He got into the pod with the other girl, and she is fun and funny. Lauren knows that she wants them both to explore their options, but she just doesn't want to hear about it. David says that he gets that, but he feels at home with her to where he could talk to her about anything. We learned that David has a sex playlist. She would like a new one for herself as his wife. She thinks basically she wants to open up like a bookstore with live music, and they talk about what their deepest, darkest secrets are, and they say that they both have feelings for each other.
Dave, take a cold shower the next day. The next time you come into these pods, man, we're going to make sure you take a cold shower before, okay? Here's the thing about it. Dave's just trying to hold all the cards, and to me, I think he's playing her. But that's just my opinion. And truth be told, when it comes to what Blair just said about, hey, everybody's dating everybody, and with him, it's like, but I just feel just at home. I feel at home talking to you. I can talk to you about anything. He's just trying to brag. That's all he's trying to do. That's all it is.
And I also feel like, Dave, like, Lauren is not your homegirl.
Exactly.
Like, she's a girl that you're dating. Like, you don't need to talk to her about what you got to do after this and all that type of stuff, because she knows. She definitely knows. Because
she's doing the same thing.
Exactly. But at the same time, Lauren, you're upset with Molly. You're not really that mad at Dave. Like, you're mad that Molly is all yelling at Happy and talking to you about Dave instead of you actually telling her, like, girl, please, just chill.
That's what I'm saying, right?
So Dave and Molly talk. They have fun together. And that's like the main theme that I get with them, is that Dave always looks at her as a fun time. And I'm really like, Molly, you got to show up as yourself as a real person and not just this fun girl to get chose. Like, because when life starts lifing, you might not be as fun as you portrayed on the initial dates or whatever the case may be. Or
even like, when life starts lifing, Dave's not going to care or like the fact that you want to have fun.
Right.
When things are tough and things of that nature, that's when you want to be like, oh, you want to have fun? You want to have fun? I don't want to have fun. And then that's how you end up having, an angry white man or like an angry black man, whoever it is.
And I think it's also important to state, like, it's not always about life being hard or challenges, but sometimes things can be mundane. Like, we have to go pay the bills and we have to pick up kids and you know what I'm saying? Like, I got to go to sleep because I got to get up in the morning. Like, is he going to lose interest when she becomes less fun? Like, that's the only question I have.
Don't lead with fun.
So he enjoys the fun in a relationship. They have their natural chemistry. She asks about his integrity. And because, she's like, as long as you haven't unalived somebody, then I'm cool with whatever. So she talks about how she bought a house. He started a business, a medical distributing business. And he's saying that he wants to have 5 businesses that he can manage on his own and be his own boss.
Okay.
Neither of them applied themselves in college. He graduated and she dropped out. He's happy and sees himself having fun with her. And they're both pretty positive people. His last serious relationship ended because he cheated. That's kind of the integrity part he was mentioning. And he says that he would never do that again. She figured the integrity had something to do with the past relationship. He has had girls come up to him at parties, like in Vegas, but he says that he wouldn't go back down that road unless he's single. And Molly was the other woman in a situation to where a man was in a relationship.
Oh, so both of y'all don't really have that much integrity.
Yeah.
Or maybe Molly didn't know. Who knows? You get what I'm saying? But listen, I don't think there's much to Dave. I think Dave is saying a lot of things just for us to lead us to a dead end of, oh, there's nothing really much to you and things like that. But, we'll see. It's only the second episode.
Yeah. So we get to Monica and Joey. So Monica plays her family song and teaches him how to dance. She has a bright personality, which he loves. This experience helped her realize how important family and relationships are. She stepped away from her job to help her grandma. So right now she describes herself as being in between jobs. Even with her grandmother's mind still not being there, she still loves her husband, has to give him a kiss every night. And he tells her that whatever she needs to prioritize as far as her family, she's doing the right thing. Like, her business, her work shouldn't basically be what describes her or what adds value to her.
So in between jobs, as in she's unemployed.
Yes.
Listen here, man. We had a girl last season that said she quit her job to come on the show. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying, or I don't want to be the metric of what you should and shouldn't do and basically measure your priorities. But I think you should be doing something else besides coming here. Basically, I'm kind of in between jobs right now. Okay, so as a potential husband, I don't like to hear that. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? What do you have? Like, what do you mean in between job? Like, there's nothing that you could have done that like you could have went on leave or anything like that. It just comes off as if it's like, I don't know what your priority is. And don't try to put the wool over my eyes by saying, I'm looking after my grandmother. No, okay, I understand that. That's commendable. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people who do both, who work and who is a caretaker as well.
Or even if you have to cut back hours or whatever the case may be, even if she's a full-time caregiver, I mean, that could be her job. And she could put it like that. But she puts it that she's in between. Yeah, so it kind of makes me wonder, so like what do you normally do? Do you have a career dream? Do you have anything that you like care about or want to do? So it's a lot of questions.
Yeah, yeah. If I was a potential spouse, I ask more questions.
Yeah. So we get to Madison and Alex. Mm-hmm. He says that he is here just for her. He is so calm around her, and she has the voice of an angel.
Wow.
She feels the same about him as far as his voice. Mm-hmm. They both like to cuddle, but she also runs hot. He does too, so they about to be in the bed sweating.
That's true.
She brought a bearly in to cuddle with since this process, and Madison tells us that she is in between guys between Mason and Alex.
People who run hot really are interesting to me. Mm. Like, I know someone who it can be like they could just have a hoodie on with a t-shirt under. It could be wintertime. They take the hoodie off and just sweat prints all over their body. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, wow. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say about that.
Then we next get to Mason and Madison. He's a morning person. She has insomnia at times, but she does like to get into the bed at 10 p.m. and start reading. He doesn't really read, but he wishes he could. He does know how, but he just doesn't read a lot. And she says that she can basically dress up as a sexy teacher and teach him. Okay. He asks her how she dresses for Halloween, whether it's sexy or scary. She does sexy sometimes, funny sometimes. Mm-hmm. She is a dog mom, so she dressed her dog up and herself matching Stitch costumes. He loves Lilo and Stitch movies. He asks if she has seen the movie Her. He is falling in love with her voice the way that I think it was Joaquin Phoenix did in the movie. And he is enjoying spending time with her, and she loves how comfortable she is with him.
You have any thoughts on them?
I think that their connection is growing. Mm-hmm. I think that Mason is enjoying Madison, but he's not giving her, and maybe this is revisionist history, but I don't feel like he's giving her enough of, I'm really into you. I really like you. Yeah. Like, I really want to possibly be with you. And I understand that's because he has another connection that he's working through. Mm-hmm. So I don't fault him necessarily for not giving her those affirmations, but asking her about the sexy Halloween thing. And I understand they have to talk about goofy, funny conversations, but I don't think that they're really getting to the meat and potatoes of what would work for them in a marriage.
Yeah. So, outside of the sexy teacher thing, which I don't hold him against, it gave off just being polite. Yeah. Like, it gave off as if, like, I'm not saying that he's not into her, but it's like, I wonder what it looks like if he is into somebody. Hopefully it don't look like this, because it looks like he just being polite. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's only the second day. Well, at least the second episode.
Right. So then we get to Meg and Mason. Uh-oh. His favorite pet name is Babe. She likes to be called Baby Girl. She is into building forts, and she asks would he want to move out of the city somewhere where there's a lot more land. Mm-hmm. And Mason is saying that she is saying all the things that he wants to hear. She asks if he has seen the movie Her. And he was so like elated that she brought that up because he loves that movie. Then they both talk about how their favorite movie is Inception, and they both love Christopher Nolan movies.
Oh, listen, yeah. I'm a fan of Christopher Nolan movies too. You gotta take out the whole day though, because he gonna have you there for 8 hours.
Yeah. And for them, again, I still kind of feel like Meg is leading the conversations and kind of like taking up a lot of space in the room, which is, if that's her personality, that's cool. But Mason, I don't know if he is just, like you said, being polite.
Yeah, it come off
if he's
that
really
way.
into her, or even if Meg just likes him because he allows her to balloon in a room, or if like she actually likes him for who he is. I feel like, girl, like you haven't gotten enough of him to really know if you like him. You just like how he listens to you is what it feels like.
Or maybe she just like the experience of going in and basically, to like your point, I get to talk about myself. I get to talk about what I like, and somebody's there being polite. You get what I'm saying?
True. So Devon is going back and forth between Brittany and Virginia.
I understand, brother.
He talks to Virginia, and she's explaining the dress that she's wearing and how she was the type of girl to wear heels in high school every day.
Yeah.
He's typically gone for the more sporty kind of girls, and she has gone for kind of creative guys in the past who are a little on the self-centered side. She likes that he's passionate about coaching and basketball, and he seems to be a kind person. Virginia says that she has never dated a nice guy in her life, and Devon tells her that she deserves one.
That's a red flag to me, but let's compare the date with Brittany,
right?
Or Brittany,
yes.
You know.
So with Brittany didn't tell her dad that she came onto the Love Is Blind experience because Willie talked too much. the whole country would know. Devon's dad's name is Willie too. They confirmed that they are not related. She did tell her mom, and her mom was more so worried about reality TV and protecting her from like weird things and people.
Yeah.
Her mom actually didn't want her to play basketball because the girls would dress like boys. She grew up listening to gospel music. He did too. And she talks about how they couldn't even listen to hip hop growing up. Yeah. He is, so she's looking forward to spending time and having that comfort with a partner of just being around them. So if we're going to compare the dates, right? I honestly am seeing more of a connection with Brittany than Virginia for Devon.
The minute she said that she never dated a nice guy, I almost took her off my list completely.
Because I'm thinking like Brittany and Devon are really connecting over so many things in life. And I know in the last episode I said like they all seem like they could be just like a good 3 like friend group for real. Like everybody seems like really chill and cool. But I think the spark and the connection is growing with Brittany. And I don't know if Virginia and Devon are as compatible as they could be. Yeah. So
I think if you think they are compatible, that's fine. But I think you will only be looking at light skin, right? But I feel the same way, especially when she said she never dated a nice guy before. Well, I don't want to be the first one, right? Because if you have an assumption of how a relationship is supposed to be and things like that, and I understand that you dated these guys that's probably self-centered, maybe these type of toxic guys and things of that nature. I don't know if I should be the first guy that you marry. I think you need more experience in being treated correctly and things like that. With B-Dot, right? Yeah. I like their connection better than Virginia if I had to compare the two. I think he should choose Brittany. Same. She does come off as a little, well, she is older, so a little bit more mature and a little bit more experienced when it comes to dating and just basically just life experience in general. Now, keep your eye on Willie. Because because he said he run his mouth and things like that. So basically, whatever problems you may have in your marriage and things like that,
keep it away from Willie.
Keep it away from Willie, okay?
And Joey and Monica, he ends up proposing to her, and she says yes.
Nice.
Moving on to Alex and Madison.
Listen, I warn y'all about Joey though. Listen, I warn y'all. Come back to episode 1 and 2. I told y'all about Joey, but I'm happy that I'm happy he's going to be on the show.
Yes. So Madison thinks today could be a turning point. And it's at this point to where they either stay on the surface or they get deeper. Yeah. So he asks her how she is when there is conflict. Does she yell a lot? Like, how does she act? And she says that she physically cannot yell, but also she grew up with an angry dad and she doesn't want to be that person. When she gets upset, she gets very logical. Okay. Alex says that he's handled tough situations pretty well. He was cheated on someone that he was living with, and he never cheated in any of his relationships. She says that that's unusual because a lot of times she hears the guy say yes, that they have cheated, and she has been cheated on multiple times. People initially want her, but when they get to know her, they didn't know how fun and smart and how much more there was to her. She has been single the past couple of years and doesn't put up with mess from people anymore. He asks if she has worked through those issues of trust. She plans to trust him until he gives her a reason not to. So they then have a conversation about attachment styles. She's an avoidant. She basically can get scared and run thinking that she doesn't need the person anyway.
Yeah.
And also feeling like, certain things aren't her problem to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
That's a trigger for Alex because he's a more anxious attachment style. He wants to be shown that he's cared for and that he's not being abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
He does think her avoidant attachment style could be an issue. Her mom, she shares, is a drug addict. She had to check to make sure that her stepdad was still breathing after he took too many pills on her birthday. She wrote them a letter that it's the drugs or me, and they chose the drugs.
Wow.
Hopefully that gives him more context about her so he can see why she is the way that she is.
Yeah.
She's not perfect, and she feels like they're both very self-aware people, and she can be a good partner to someone. He is glad to hear that, but he's a bit scared because of his history with an extreme avoidant person.
Yeah.
She asks if he needs an emotional connection before the physical, and they both agree that they do. She does enjoy the sexual part of relationship, but she's not a first date kisser type of person. She comes from a religious background, but the topic of sex was always taboo growing up. She didn't have sex until she was 22, and she feels like she's done a lot of work to not have shame around it. Alex says that maybe that's a few dates from now when we can kind of talk about the physical, sexual stuff. He thought that she was his strongest connection, but he is going to have to think about that attachment style conversation. Maybe we're attracted to people similar to other we dated on the outside, and he has to take some time to consider that. She appreciates his honesty and doesn't mean to scare him off.
Here's the thing about it. I don't want to just criticize people's story, right? Of like, oh, you're a red flag because of all the stuff you got going on. I don't want to make a habit of that. Now, there are some red flags when it comes to people, and I'm like, yeah, you may be too much. You may be too much. I think there's enough red flags on both parties here, but this is the most in-depth conversation I've seen with two people on the show so far.
Same.
On episode 2, that is. We watched more. Don't spoil for everybody else, but I'm just saying, so far to this point, I like the fact they're open. Can opposites attract? Yes. Right? Can these two people work? Yes. Right? But the fact that they was honest with what their flaws were, what their triggers were, right? They now need to acknowledge that, A, with us two, all of our cards is on the table.
Yeah.
So I need to now, it's my responsibility, not so much for me not to trigger you, even though, like, it is my responsibility in some factors, but it's now my responsibility to look at my cards and look at your cards and be like, I want to take that on. Besides all of this happening without your spouse knowing or your friend knowing or like your partner knowing. So I like the fact that they was this transparent, and if they get together and if they say yes to each other, right, I will hope that they will acknowledge their triggers, this conversation, and actually assist each other where each of them is weakened. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is just a hard one because I see where Madison is, and I see how self-aware she is, and I think that's amazing. And I think that she's also talking about all the work that she's doing to change some of those negative habits about herself. So because she has that willingness and that want to, that would make me want to tell Alex to give her a chance, because if you guys do grow to love each other and she is continuing to work on herself in a real way, not the way where people say they're working on themselves, but they really just doing the same things they've always done. But if they really truly try to show up as the best people for each other, this could be a beautiful love story.
It really can.
It really could. But what scares me is mostly from what he was saying, especially, was he the one that got bullied? No, I think that was another guy. Anyway, but with him and the fact that he's talked about dating someone with the avoidant attachment type of style, him being more of the anxious type, it is possible if they don't show up as the best version of themselves, they're going to harm each other in this relationship, and they're not going to come out in a good place mentally. And so it's really just a matter of, are we really doing the best that we can every single day? And I'd like to think that they will, because I see the want to, I see that all there. But I feel like if it starts to get to a place of toxicity, they have to know when to cut it off, because I think they'll really hurt each other because of how different they are.
And I think for me, I just appreciate someone telling me this is what's wrong with me, this is what's right with me.
Yeah.
And put the choice 100% in my hands. Because it's one thing for you to not acknowledge or to blindside me, or for you to not even know what's wrong with you.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? You basically just going on through life like, this is just who I am, but you can't really put into words who you are. But I like the fact that she put like, this is what it is. Like, my parents chose drugs over me and things like that. So it's like, oh, okay, so I know like in this area of your life, you go probably need me to show up just a little bit more. Yeah. And then that puts the onus on me of, do I want to deal with a fixer-upper? I know it's a person. People can be fixer-uppers, but there are people who are fixer-uppers. You get what I'm saying? Or do I want to deal with someone that I can just move in and just basically just plug and play? I like the fact that the power is in my hands.
Yeah. So then we get to Madison's conversation with Mason. So she tells him what she's wearing. He's definitely into it.
Okay.
They play a few games, and she talks about how she could see him in a rom-com. He could see her as a villain, but not necessarily a bad person in the situation.
Okay.
She says that he's not wrong. She has dealt with jealous and insecure people, and if she knows they don't like her, she probably is going to make it worse. They listen to music together, and he tells her, I like you. I thought I couldn't quite make out. He calls her Mads, but I didn't know if he possibly said Meg. But we know we're dating multiple people. We can't get too upset. But she did say, huh?
Don't say names, brother. Like,
she said, what now? But he just said, I like you.
Yeah,
okay, keep it cute.
Don't
keep
say names.
They end up playing like this type of mini golf thing. She's talking about her mini skirt and her nipples are pierced. She likes how he's not afraid to express his feelings. And he's glad that she says that, because he has a fear of how he can't really articulate himself well. He messes up his words sometimes, but she makes him feel comfortable to talk.
Well, okay. Like I said, don't say names.
Yeah.
I will have everybody say their name when they walk in the room.
Yeah.
By me, I would come in and say, hello, it's Chris again. And I'm speaking to. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, listen, please do not do the, listen, this is our fourth date. Do you recognize my voice? No, because literally there was a girl that I talked to who literally had no voice.
Yeah.
So I would just like to confirm who I'm talking to, please. Thank you.
Exactly.
B Dot. Okay. How you doing, B Dot?
Yeah. I will say this was a fun date. I feel like she was able to talk about more of her sexual side and kind of be a little bit more like loose and free with Mason, where it was with Alex. I mean, they're getting to the nitty gritty, but I feel like that's where you need to be if you're really going to propose to somebody.
Yeah.
So we get to the women's quarters. Meg learns that Madison is talking to Mason. He is her only connection. She hasn't had any other people, and she doesn't want to scare him off. So Meg then goes to talk to Mason. Here he is again asking about these Halloween costumes.
Stop it, man.
She does sexy, she does funny sometimes. But we learned that his last relationship was 2 years ago, and hers was as well. She thought that she was going to find her husband in college, but at this point, she wouldn't change anything in her life. If she met her person, she would be ecstatic for marriage. And he tells her that it's nice meeting people who are genuine and are really looking for partnership.
Okay.
Meg says that she never discussed the future with any of her previous partners, and she loves doing this because she knows that now that there are men who actually want this. She wants to find her soulmate. He also agrees that soulmates exist. She has a core wound of not being good enough, so it's scary putting herself out there where someone could not choose her. He's getting excited, and well, he tells her that he's excited but also confused after this conversation with her. And she's wondering, saying, let me confuse you even more.
Let's keep going.
Meg tells the ladies the energy was different and not in a good way. He said that he was confused, and she wasn't before, but now she is. She just wants him to say that he likes her, just give her something to go off of. Then we see that Monica and Joey are about to meet each other.
Do you think it's a good plan for you to come back from your date and basically telling everybody how like your date went?
Oh man. Only if you know the person that you're talking, like you need one good girlfriend. I'll give you one. Don't go in there hemming and hawing and all of the dramatics and the theatrics and all that type of stuff. I feel like it's a bit insensitive and it's a little much. Find a good girlfriend to where y'all are not talking to the same dude and have somebody to lean on in the experience. But when they come in and just start going off at the mouth,
it's weird, right?
It's like it's not right. I don't think it's right.
Yeah, I think you do need that one person because this is a lot of hours talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you do need someone to at least like to just get it like a break from.
Yeah, decompress.
But don't come in the room screaming, "Oh my God," and all that stuff, and you're bringing attention to yourself. Go to your friend or go to your group. And I wouldn't go so much on names and things like that. But that's just my opinion. But we will see. Is that it, right?
Yeah, that is all. The only other thing I want to say about this conversation with Meg and Mason, again, I agree with Meg that Mason isn't giving her much.
He's not.
To really go off of. But Meg, like, you kind of gotta pull back a little bit, and not to say that her personality is too much. I think she seems like a fun girl to be around, but I do think that you're not making him step to the plate.
No.
Like, you're filling in the gaps for him and he's along for the ride. Make him work a little bit. Be
a mystery.
Yeah.
Be a mystery.
And that's all I got.
We will do episode 3. Will episode 3 come out the same day? I think I'm going to release both 2 and 3 on the same day. Okay. Actually, no, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not. 2 is going to come out on Saturday, which is today.
Okay.
Right? 3 is going to come out Sunday.
All right.
Anything else?
That's all.
Subscribe, like, share, comment, all the above. See ya.
Bye.